the Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education, Professor Idris Bugaje, I understand is here. You're welcome, sir. This recognition will not be complete if we do not recognize all the members of TEDFund's National Research Fund Screening and Monitoring Committee that are here. You're most welcome. And of course, members of the 2024 Committee for the National Research Fair. You're most recognized. We also welcome all heads of beneficiary institutions of TEDFund that have joined us for this event. Thank you very much for coming. We also wish to welcome our partners from Innovate Hub. We have Neta Anien. He's the Director Program at Innovate Hub. You're welcome. We also have Mr. Mir Dagan, also from Innovate Hub. We have Uri Mestechkin, also from Innovate Hub. From IITA, we have Olukayo Defaleti. You're most welcome. And we have the MD of Simba Group, Vaine Ganva. You're welcome. Any other? Which one is this? How many of them are represented? How many of them? Because there are some nice questions that are here that we recognize them, there's no point. I've already welcomed all the heads of institutions, so there's no point mentioning. Do we have any note on the research fair, the read, as in the essence of the fair? I was thinking of
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, still on recognitions, I would like to introduce for celebration Dr. Chitu Wehoma Princewill, the Director of Special Duties of the Department and Heads of Secretariat of the National Bioethics Committee. He's representing the Director General CEO, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, the National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency. Please put your hands together for him. Also here with us is the Director of Africa Center for Excellence in Phytomedicine from the University of Jos, Professor Abraham Dogo. Please celebrate him for me. From the Office of the Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NOTAP, the Director General, Dr. Mrs. Obiageli Amadiobi, is here represented by Mrs. Ada Oladunke. Please put your hands together for her. In furtherance of TEDFund's mandate in supporting cutting-edge researches and its application for economic development, the fund is pleased to announce the maiden edition of the TEDFund National Research Fair and Exhibition. This is the brainchild of none other than the Executive Secretary of TEDFund, Architect Sonny Ochonu. Please, ladies and gentlemen, can we celebrate him one more time? The TEDFund National Research Fair and Exhibition aims to bridge the gap between research, innovation, and the market. It will showcase practical research outcomes and scalable prototypes and entrepreneurs for commercialization. The fair innovators, manufacturers, angel investors, venture capitalists, and policymakers to interact freely for the overall economic development of the country. The fair will support and promote homegrown technologies to emerge as businesses and solution providers, which ultimately will reduce the dependence on foreign technologies, save foreign exchange, create massive jobs, and generate wealth, especially for the Nigerian teeming youth population. This was the vision behind the whole TEDFund Fair and Exhibition. Thank you very much for coming. We'll be starting very soon as the minister arrives. But in the meantime, look to your left and your right, welcome somebody, appreciate something about them. I like your glasses, I love your smile, I like your hair gear. Just say something nice to that person, exchange cards, interact, and then we'll start in a little bit. I'll be back. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, OJ, for those introductions. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we will, in just a few moments, be joined by the chief host of this maiden edition of the TEDFund National Research Fair and Exhibition. I would like to ask the police band to be ready to play the anthem and also to go on later on to entertain the audience. We're just getting ready to start. Thank you once more for your patience. We'll be back shortly. to thank you, the police band, for that short entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, just to emphasize the reason for this program and what it really portends for Nigeria, we must actually thank TET Fund for the initiative, which is really to develop homegrown solutions that would create businesses and wealth. All over the world, every nation is focused on indigenous capacities, what you would call local content. And TET Fund has stepped forward to say we can fund indigenous capacities, indigenous solutions for businesses and wealth creation. It reminds me of the triple helix model, where industry is a great beneficiary of the innovation ecosystem. And then government also plays its role as the regulator and also the funding institution. This is epochal. It's actually something phenomenal that TET Fund is initiating. And I do hope, all of us hope, that this will grow in leaps and bounds. That's the main way to build local capacities, to create jobs and create wealth. If we don't support local production, we will have a major challenge. So the time is right. TET Fund has stepped forward and to support homegrown solutions for the Nigerian economy, not just in the private sector, but also in the public sector. We are happy to announce that the chief host of this meeting edition, Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Olatunji, allows us just joined us. A round of applause for him. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now rise for the national anthem. Thank you. Thank you very much. The chief host of the maiden edition of the TET Fund National Research Fair, the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Olatunji Alausa. Other members of the Federal Executive Council in our midst at this time, the Chairman of the Board of TET Fund, Right Honorable Bello Masari, the Executive Secretary of TET Fund, Architect Sonny Echono, Directors General, Heads of Public and Private Corporations, Captains of Industry, members of the diplomatic men of the press, And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and welcome to this very interesting program, which is the maiden edition of the TED Fund National Research Fair and Exhibition. My name is Inye Kemabonta, and I'll be facilitating this program with pleasure, but in the company of my colleague who will step forward to introduce himself formally. OJ.
My name is Ojugo Onyelukachukwu. Everybody calls me OJ. I'll be your co-pilot for the day.
Thank you, OJ. So at this time, we'll keep protocols to the barest minimum and go straight to the program of the day, which will be kick-started by a proper welcome address. Honorable Minister, we have done introductions in your absence. We will not take more time in a lengthy introduction. Everyone has been recognized, so we will then go on to an important start of today's program. We didn't give a welcome address. The gentleman who will discharge that burden is making his way to the podium. I'd like to ask you to please applaud the Executive Secretary, very erudite, very capable, very innovative, and extremely intelligent, Architect Sunny Echodo.
Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of National Planning and Budget, my own, the Honorable Minister of Education, the Chairman, Board of Trustees of TED Fund and other members of the Board of Trustees, the representatives of all the state governors here present, chief executives of parastatals and other top government functionaries here present, heads of our beneficiary institutions, vice chancellors, rectors and provosts, members of the National Research Fund Granting and Monitoring Committee, the chair and members of the organizing committee for this fair and exhibition, other special invited guests, my colleagues at TED Fund, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the maiden edition of the TED Fund National Research Fair and Exhibition as part of efforts to ensure that outputs of research and innovation support national development. As you are all aware, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund is an intervention agency set up by the federal government to provide supplementary support to all levels of public tertiary institutions in our country, with the core objective of using funding alongside project management for the rehabilitation, restoration, and consolidation of tertiary education in our country. More specifically, TED Fund resources are dispersed for the general improvement of education in both federal and state tertiary education institutions, primarily for the provision and maintenance of essential physical infrastructure for teaching and learning, instructional materials and equipment, for research and publications, one of the reasons why we are here, for academic staff training and development, and any other need which is critical and essential for the improvement and maintenance of standards in the higher educational institutions. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, research and innovation are critical to the sustenance of any society. Besides expanding knowledge and facilitating changes in the society, scientific knowledge as a product of research should be able to address societal problems and ultimately bring about improvements in the standard of living of the people. In appreciation of the critical role of research in realizing national aspirations, the fund has been funding various research interventions, such as the institutional-based research in our beneficiary institutions, the National Research Fund, and the mega research grants for multidisciplinary and multi-agency research. I am pleased to inform you that based on the additional impetus by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, the fund has upscaled its efforts at supporting other critical research and development initiatives aimed at facilitating the uptake of research output for the benefit of society. These initiatives include the Research for Impact program, the TED Fund Alliance for Innovative Research, what we call TED Fair, and the Innovation Fellowship for Aspiring Inventors and Researchers program, the IFAIR. The ultimate objective is to translate research from Nigerian tertiary institutions into innovations, inventions, and solutions for practical application and commercialization. Some of the prototypes developed from these various R&D initiatives are being exhibited at this fair. Also arising from its sustained support to our beneficiary institutions over the years, TED Fund has noted the immense improvement in the performance of universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, most especially in the area of research and development. The research outputs under the national sciences, technology, and sciences, and in even the arts from these institutions are increasingly being recognized and respected all over the world, leading to an extraordinary increase in the number of professors, PhD graduates, and the general quality of teaching and further research being undertaken in our country. And this has attracted global recognition. Also stemming from the charge by Mr. President, aimed at revamping the economy, creating jobs, generating wealth, and ensuring shared prosperity among Nigerians, TED Fund further recognized the imperative to enhance the linkages of these impressive academic performances to industry and the day-to-day life of the average Nigerian. Accordingly, and in line with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, TED Fund organized this strategic national research fair mainly to collect, and showcase many of the concluded practical research results and technologies that can be manufactured and or are scalable, and also encourage Nigerians, particularly the youth of our country, to attend and visit the display pavilions, to identify and negotiate the use of such technologies for establishing viable enterprises, to provide goods and services with the net effect of massive generation of jobs, creation of wealth, and the broad enhancement of the Nigerian economy. To ensure effective implementation of the fair, TED Fund specially established a research fair subcommittee in July this year to serve as the local organizing committee for the fund, and they were given specific mandates that you will get to be acquainted with. I am pleased to report that our committee has creditably discharged its mandate, culminating in the opening ceremony this morning. So TED Fund is pleased to report that we deliberately organized this fair for technology owners to participate free of charge. And the fair is also open to the general public to attend and also do so at no cost to maximize the opportunity of achieving the intended objectives. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my Honorable Minister, the Board of Trustees, the management and staff of TED Fund, I wish to warmly welcome you to today's event and to also appeal to the members of the media here present to partner and support TED Fund to effectively disseminate all this information and the fair's objectives to all Nigerians so that we can collectively achieve our common goal of supporting Mr. President to achieve his agenda for the national development and the prosperity of all Nigerians. I thank you very much for your kind attention, and I welcome you. God bless you all.
Please, another wonderful round of applause for Architect Sonny Ochenu, the brain box behind everything that you see here today. Ladies and gentlemen, for the furtherance of this event, I'd like to bring up to the microphone for his welcome address, welcome remarks, the former Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives and the former Governor of Katsina State, the Dalatun Katsina Matanwale Hausa. He is the Chairman, Board of Trustees, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and help me make welcome Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari. Please put your hands together for him. Matanwale Hausa.
You're welcome, sir.
The host minister, Honorable Minister of Education, His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of National Planning and Budget, my colleagues, members of the board of TED Fund, the Executive Secretary, the local organizing committee of this fair. At this point, let me stand on the protocol already established by the Executive Secretary of TED Fund. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with great joy that I join the Executive Secretary to warmly welcome you to this maiden edition of the National Research Fair, the first of its kind in Nigeria in many ways. First, it is not just an ordinary expo where people will come to sightseeing, as it is with the most of the exhibitions that we have seen in different parts of the country. It is the one in which uptakers have been invited to critically look at products on display for possible adoption and mainstreaming into the Nigerian market. Financial institutions have been invited to participate and possibly fund the commercialization of viable products. The fair is also saddled with the responsibility of protecting the intellectual property and the trade secrets of inventors and the rights of all the participants. Distinguished guests and participants, let me quickly remind you of our mandate as a world-class intervention agency. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund, is an intervention agency set up by the federal government to provide supplementary support to all levels of public tertiary institutions with the core objective of using funding to ameliorate some of the myriads of challenges bedeviling Nigerian public universities. Thus, state funds intervention specifically addresses issues on the rehabilitation and the restoration of dilapidated infrastructure, provision of facilities and tools to improve and consolidate tertiary education in Nigeria. The fund has committed huge resources into research and development programs since its inception in 2011 in order to develop homegrown solutions from cutting-edge research in TED Fund beneficiary institutions for national development. The fund has sponsored 23,221 institution-based research, IBR, since 2011, and 912 National Research Fund, NRF, grants since 2012. The Board of Trustees is committed to providing transformative intervention to drive the imperative of research and innovation and improve the global competitiveness of our tertiary institutions. It is in recognition of the role of research in national development that the need to address the paucity of funds necessary to facilitate cutting-edge research in the areas of national priorities that the Board of Trustees of TED Fund introduced the National Research Fund, NRF, intervention to fund impactful research that will contribute to national developmental efforts as well as tackle global challenges. The NRF intervention, which covers three broad categories: science, engineering, technology and innovation, humanities and social sciences, and cross-cutting is targeted at realizing the objective of addressing the critical research areas to drive the nation's economy and its developmental aspirations. To realize this goal, research outputs from our institutions need to be integrated into the industrial sector and the society in many ways to create spin-offs, farms, capital formation ventures, and business incubator facilities, etc. In order to fulfill this mandate, the fund assembled some of the best brains, professors, and doctorate degree holders from within our public tertiary institutions under the auspices of the National Research Fund Screening and Monitoring Committee. The team is to, among others, develop the idea of harvesting excellent research products from these institutions and the community-level inventors that will be displayed at the fair for 5 days. Successful uptake of inventions by major stakeholders will lead to the development of small and medium-scale enterprises. This collaboration will create jobs, grow the economy, and our country will shift from a consumer to a producing nation. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests and exhibitors, TED Fund is more than ready to continue its quota to national development by funding public tertiary education, and specifically quality research that can impact positively on the well-being of the generality of Nigerians, thereby accelerating the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, His Excellency Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We therefore solicit for further cooperation from all relevant stakeholders in order to continue to impact Nigeria's educational landscape as a world-class intervention agency. I want to reiterate for the 18th time that this fair is at no cost to participants of all categories, be it exhibitor or funding institution or the academia, and it is open to all Nigerians irrespective of their location, gender, or affiliation. Before I conclude, I would like to specifically appreciate the management of TETFund for conceptualizing this idea and for putting together the team that birthed it, and hope it will be an annual event that will soon become an avenue for churning out innovative products that can positively impact the sustainable development of our dear country. Thank you most sincerely for your attention.
Please, can we put our hands together one more time for Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari, the Chairman, Board of Trustees for TETFund. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we would like to hear from some of our governors here represented by special advisors and various officials. I'd like to first of all recognize the presence of Dr. Prince Edisiri Tesi, the essay to the Governor of Delta State on Education. Please put your hands together for him. But I'll welcome to the microphone the representative of the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo Essien, in the person of Professor Nse Essien. He is the VC Akwa Ibom State University. Please put your hands together for him as he comes to the microphone. And thereafter, we'll be hearing from the Governor of Abia State. And then also, after that, we'll be hearing from the Chairman IRS Group before we now hear from the Honorable Minister of National Planning and Economy. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Nse Essien.
Yesterday played host to the Indian Prime Minister, where in a stark reminder about the importance of research and technology and innovation, the Indian Prime Minister in his comments stated that if we have diamonds in the ground, we should work hard to bring it out quickly, because now naturally occurring diamonds are competing with lab-grown diamonds that are 20% cheaper. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his renewed hope agenda, believes that we should confront our reality. We should give place of pride to our blessings, which is the intellectual capacity that is all over the place in our institutions, and to support them so that we build a Nigeria that is technically competent, that is continually innovative, that will take its place of pride in the Committee of Nations. I thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister for Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Bagudu. He brings to a close the session on Goodwill messages. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll punctuate proceedings now with a performance. The group right in front of you, ready to play and dance, is called the Unity Dancers. They'll be performing an interesting, energetic dance, which is called Ate Logo. Atiologo means it's as if there's a drop of witchcraft into the dance. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to watch acrobatic display that is mind-boggling. A round of applause for Unity dancers. Thank you. Thank you for applauding the Unity dancers for that short, interesting performance. I'd like to ask you to please patiently listen to a short announcement to be made now by the chairman of the local organizing committee, Dr. Bindri.
Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, especially Honorable Minister of Education, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of TED Fund, Executive Secretary, and all these very important personalities. Arrangement and what it is meant for, pass through the exhibition main area, right through that marquee, pop out marquee, pop out where the military people are, and then come back through this so that Honorable Minister can see the tip of the iceberg of the outputs of R&D in Nigeria. Now, all the dignitaries, both the main committee and the dignitaries in this book, are invited immediately after the speech of the Honorable Minister so that we can back the Minister up and then go through this exhibition to see what is there. I thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to say that we're getting to the very high point of this very interesting maiden edition of the TED Fund National Research Fair and Exhibition. I have the pleasure to once again introduce to you our chief host today. He'll be playing two roles, incidentally. The first is the formal opening by his speech, and then the second will be to formally declare the fair and exhibition open. In that second function, he will be joined by the National Research Fair Screening and Monitoring Committee leadership, including the chairman of the local organizing committee, right behind me, to cut that tape so we can formally begin to visit the exhibition stands. Now, for his first performance, it's my pleasure at this time again to invite the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Olatunji Alausa. You might be interested to know that his education is actually deep, straight in Lagos and in Chicago, and he has led very many interesting initiatives in healthcare delivery. Another applause for him as he takes over the lectern.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Let me first acknowledge and welcome everyone to this maiden edition of the TED Fund National Research Fair exhibition. And I'll start by acknowledging our able and dear Honorable Minister for Budget and National Planning, Senator Atiku Bagudu, my dear brother and friend. I would like to thank you for the wonderful work and the hard work you're doing for our country. Just this past Thursday, we presented at the Federal Executive Council the medium-term economic framework to set up us for the next 2024 budget. It was a very detailed presentation that covers the entire sector of the economy. Let me publicly acknowledge you and thank you on behalf of Nigerians, the hard work you're doing, and please let's join me in giving a warm round of applause. Also to the chairman of the TED Fund, former Speaker of the House of Representatives, former Governor of Katsina State, His Excellency Aminu Bello Masari, and to the other members of the members of the Board of Trustees of TED Fund. And also, let me acknowledge my dear friend and brother, the Chairman Alhaji Karima. Thank you for all your support to our country. And also, amiable and very diligent Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Architect Sonny Echono. Thank you for all your hard work. The Vice Chancellors, Rectors, and Provosts that are present today, thank you for coming to witness this epoch-making occasion, the first of its kind. But despite being the first of its kind, we're promising this is going to be an annual event from now and ongoing, because we need to unleash the innate capacity of our teaming hundreds of millions of young Nigerians, men and women. And this is one way to give them the opportunity to unleash their innate abilities. Let me also recognize the various directors of agencies that are present here today. Directors of the Federal Ministry of Education, and more importantly, the chairman of this local organizing of the fair and exhibition, Dr. Bindri, for all your hard work. What we're seeing today is a combination of weeks, months, hours of hard work. Thank you so much, Dr. Bindri, and with all your team for this hard work. Members of the press that are present, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by stating that I'm highly inspired by the evidently deliberate intention and reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to the specific effort of TED Fund to encourage our academia to respond to core critical needs for our national development. It is this inspiration and recognition of these important stakes you uphold in achieving results on these reforms that has encouraged us to deliberately support the TED Fund National Research Fair with specific reference to the roles of universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and even creativities and innovation from our individuals and communities. The research fair is specifically aligned to Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda on domesticating the local research result for the composite objective of creating jobs, generation of wealth, and the ultimate goal of strengthening our economy. Generally, research and innovation system help us to categorize countries into first, second, and third world countries. In other words, research and innovation system is a cardinal factor in determining the quality of life of a people and the overall status of the nation. Hence, research and innovation applications determines the leaders and the followers of this world. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly note that the roles of Nigerian research and innovation system in the context of development can be summarized as follows. There are indispensable vehicles. They are indispensable vehicles for transforming our society, from backwardness to modernity, from being a liability to becoming an asset, from being a market and consumer nation to an industrialized and a producer nation, from a dependent economy to a self-reliant one, and from import-oriented economy to export-oriented one. And more importantly, from being a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. They lie in the appropriate delivery and sustenance of goods and services captured in the programs and projects we design and implement. It is a unique cross-cutting development constituency that affects all sectors of human endeavors. Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has emphasized that his government is committed to a whole comprehensive integration of research and outcomes of research with the process of policy formulation and implementation in all fields of national endeavor. Sustaining the impact of the efforts will depend on the vigor of the national strategies to acquire technology and the domestication of the required technologies through timely commercialization and technology transfer. As leaders, we aspire to deliver goods, services, lifelong opportunities to prosper our people. We promise them clean water, food security, gainful jobs, adequate health care, good education, good roads, and so on. Little do we know that actually we're talking about borehole drilling rigs, water pumps, water tanks, water treatment chemicals, agricultural production, processing equipment, storage facilities, reduction of farm losses, quality processing of food materials, establishment of industries, manufacturing facilities of drugs, medicine, and so on, all of which are products of dynamic research and innovation. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to share you once upon a time, not so many centuries ago, there was a poor continent. The name was Europe. Then it discovered three things: the rule of law, free market, and research-based innovation. Now, after the discovery of these three things, what happened? Europe is now a rich nation. The same thing later happened in North America with the same consequences, and it's now happening in Asia as we look ahead. The success of our vision and development agenda depends largely on if Nigeria will also learn from these experiences. The core strategy of the Federal Ministry of Education to the successes of TED Fund and other relevant institutions is to draw the attention of Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to the dire needs and opportunities presented by the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in making research and innovation the major driver of our economy and the ultimate industrialization of our great nation, Nigeria. The National Research Fair is a clarion call to all tertiary institutions and research institutes in Nigeria to align to the reform of Mr. President to conduct their teaching, research, and innovation to be applied, practical, and effective in addressing the development challenges in our country. It's high time we start focusing our education and aligning our education, our tertiary education, to the needs of Nigerians. We need to now focus on STEM with two M's: science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medical sciences, as well as focus on what we need most to help empower and give life skills to our teeming young population: TVET, technical and vocational education and training. This fair will be sustained as an annual effort, and we will sensitize Nigerians, most especially the youth of our nation, to take advantage of the outcomes to participate in our economic development. We urge the funding and all financial institutions, including commercial banks, to also reform their support to government to strategically support Nigerians to establish small and medium enterprises using homegrown technologies. We encourage our international development partners to also reform their support to align to Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Renewed Hope agenda to ensure that the youth of Nigerians acquire the necessary and relevant capacities and organizational skills to succeed as producers and service providers for national development. Before I close, let me reiterate Mr. President's commitment to Nigerians on creating opportunities to all Nigerians, more importantly, and young men and women, for you to unleash your innate capacity. Nigeria is a well-endowed country. This President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is determined and very deliberate about creating these opportunities for you young Nigerians. We have a different environment. Please seize on this opportunity. This is the time to seize on this opportunity. Don't let it go. Don't let it slip away. I'm pushing our young men. The environment is changed. You have a listening president, a president that is very innovative, that has promised and is investing already substantial amount of our national budget on research and innovation. At this time, Finally, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hereby declare this national fair open. I know I'll be joined by my colleague, Honorable Minister of Budget and National Planning, and the Chairman of TED Fund, the Executive Secretary, and other members that are here to join me to cut the ribbon. I wish the organizers and participants of this maiden edition of this research fair and exhibition a fruitful and impactful exhibition. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, the Minister will step down now and perform the formal function and proceeding to lead of the exhibition. Ladies and gentlemen, the vote that
to sai ga imani na gama gwamna lafiya ga kai minista wallahi shekara ta Allah ya da 4+4 Allah ya da tare muka yawo da ya san komai kai ne mu Allah akwai matsala
Those guys, no, they do. Follow them, go to now. Sorry for your name.
Thank you.